Hi all. Welcome back to the world of beautiful weather in wonderful southern Louisiana. I hope that you all came through the storm okay, and that you had a wonderful extended Mardi Gras break. Um, and let's jump right into this. So I just want to talk to y'all for a few minutes about Project 2, the researched argument essay, now that I am back with the internet in the world. So, Project 2 is going to be your research argument essay. This is going to take most of the rest of the semester. It's kind of what we're going to be working on. So it's going to be a process. But you'll be writing a well-researched argument that takes a position on a controversial topic, issue, or subject that you've already been working with for Project 1. And if you want to change your topic, that's also okay. Just email me and let me know. It'll be a 2,000 word minimum, the final paper. So that'll be about 8-ish pages, Times New Roman, double spaced, all that stuff. So you may need to focus your topic from kind of where you have been with Project 1. I spoke to a lot of you about this in your conferences. It's good as you start the research phase to be general, and then as you try to start writing, especially like crafting a thesis statement, you kind of want to be specific. And really, with the thesis statement, it's centered on your argument and like being kind of clear and specific and focused. I find that it's often easier to write more about a more specific topic because you know, if you're writing something very general like global warming is bad and we need to change, it's hard to make specific claims and points to support those claims. So you will want to argue something that is supportable, but also not something that everyone already agrees with. No one's really debating whether the sky is blue or whether cigarettes are bad for you. So, you know, and we've already talked about a lot of this, kind of having these debates. Do note that if you want to drastically change your topic, because like I said, you're going to be working on this with the rest of the semester, and I don't want y'all to be writing about something all semester that you hate. So if you need to change your topic for any reason, just shoot me an email and let me know, just so that I can kind of talk with you and make sure that whatever your new topic is something that you're into and kind of help you get started there. Okay, so in this paper, you'll need to consider our alternative views, refuting them kind of as you build your own argument. You will need to back up each claim you make within the argument with sources. You'll need to use your sources to build credibility and gain authority to speak as a writer on a particular topic. You want to persuade your audience, so you need to use credible sources, right? You don't... The claims are more credible and therefore more powerful if they are supported by, like, solid evidence. So keep in mind kind of what we've been talking about with the crash course navigating digital information and with evaluating sources like from the library database. Keep all that stuff in mind. You can use ethical, emotional, logical appeals, probably all three, a mixture. You'll want to avoid logical fallacies. There'll be a video coming sometime this week about logical fallacies. Yeah, you really you'll need to like make the argument and focus on the argument. And I know that like when I was in high school, we had to write essays that were argumentative and very structured, very strictly, like, okay, you're gonna have your introductory paragraph and then 3 paragraphs in support and then 1 paragraph at the end where you address the opposition, and then your conclusion. That's not what I'm looking for. Make your argument however you need to, however structurally works for you. Like that structure does work for some people, but I would prefer to see kind of evidence integrated into the argument, So if the opposition's sources kind of work to make your argument, pull those in. Really think about convincing your audience. Just me. And we'll talk more about kind of developing that argument, developing an argumentative thesis in coming weeks, but just, be thinking. So, you will need to use both direct quotes and paraphrases in your papers. You will need to obviously support your claims with evidence, and those claims, that evidence will need to be cited in the text as well as on an MLA style works cited page. You'll need a minimum of 6 sources for the paper. They can be the same sources you used on your annotated bib, but they don't have to be, so don't panic if some of them aren't relevant now. That's fine. I'm not going back to double check to see if there's overlap. Alright, final essays, which are not due until April 16th, so plenty of time, but just so you know, final essays will be graded based on the Project 2 rubric, which is already on Moodle. I'll be posting some sample student essays from previous years for y'all to grade using that rubric, and you'll post your grades for next week's forum post. And I'll share my grades after y'all have posted yours for the same papers with that, so hopefully you'll kind of get to see what I'm looking for, and you'll get to see both sides of the situation, right? We're going to talk about these rubric things, rubric items more specifically in the coming weeks, but just so you know, in order, descending order of point value, the rubric items I'll be looking for the final essay are your ideas, so does your thesis sound, does your argument make sense, is the logic there, you aren't relying on any logical fallacies, that kind of thing. So idea, support, that's your sources, and whether or not they support your argument, whether they tie into your argument, and how they're integrated and used. Correctness, that's following the prompt, attempting MLA formatting. As y'all know, I'm not a huge stickler about where your commas go and stuff, but do attempt to make it look right. And turning the paper in as a Word doc with your last name and the file name. That is very, that is one of the things that is a big pet peeve for me if you don't do that. So keep an eye on your Word doc status and your file name situation, because it really helps with the grading to have that organized that way. Okay. Your audience, so 4, so that's attempting academic English, applying appropriate rhetorical strategies, kind of thing, keeping in mind that you're writing an academic paper and not a blog post. And then grammar. So y'all know I'm not really a stickler about where your commas go, but you will need to be reading over your paper for typos and spelling errors and that kind of thing. And especially since we're going to be doing so much peer review and having so much time to revise, I will be expecting polished, fairly polished essays, So, since we'll be working on this project for nearly all of the rest of the semester, I want to lay out the schedule for y'all. This is also reflected in the syllabus and on Moodle and on the prompt, all the places. So, but if you have questions, I know it's a lot, let me know. But I want to emphasize really that writing is a process for this paper, and I want to give y'all a chance to lean into that. I know when I was in college and also now in grad school, a lot of the things that I end up writing end up being things that I work on for a few hours or maybe a couple days really intensely, and then I never look at it again and I never think of them again. And I kind of want to give y'all a chance to take more time with this, spread it out, kind of think through developing those ideas and developing an argument. So, to that end, you'll have a couple round of drafts and peer reviews for this essay before the final paper is turned in. So that final deadline is Friday, April 16th at 11:59 p.m. And that's at 11:59 p.m. All of these deadlines are 11:59. And y'all know I don't sit on Moodle and wait. So that's fine. So you will turn in your first draft on Monday, March 8th. This can be pretty rough, looking for a minimum of around 1,000 words, which is half of the final length of the paper, just so that you can kind of get started thinking about that, and you have several weeks between now and then, so plenty of time to develop it. And then the following week, the following Monday, you will do peer review, March 15th. Later that week, March 18th and 19th, I'll be doing student conferences again, these virtual 15-minute meetings, or you can schedule an alternate appointment with me, obviously. Draft 2 is going to be due at the end of March, Monday the 29th, and that's going to be a 2,000 word minimum. And that is the final length of the paper, right? So you will have already written all 2,000 words of the paper 2 weeks prior to the final paper being due. So you'll have plenty of time to develop your ideas further, and really hone what you want to say, and work on that. So that second round of peer review will be the next week, Monday, April 5th, and then a couple weeks after that, the final paper, which again, 2,000 words, is going to be due Friday, April 16th at 11:59 p.m. So conferencing with me will work the same as last time. That seemed to go pretty smoothly. There will be a Google sign-up sheet on Moodle. Double check your sign-up just in case any weirdness happens with the Google Sheets. And make sure to show up to your scheduled appointment on time and prepared. You're not required to send any draft material to me prior to the meeting, but if you want to send me, if you want me to read over your whole essay, your whole draft prior to our meeting, send that to me at least 24 hours ahead of time. Shoot me an email, let me know. And then for peer review, so after you turn in the drafts on Monday, March 8th, and on Monday, March 29th, the next day I will go in and assign you peer review groups or partners. That'll change from time to time so you get a variety of feedback. And then I'll share that with y'all, share the partners with y'all, and distribute your email addresses so that you can exchange drafts and feedback for those drafts on your own that week. And then I'll upload a peer review worksheet to Moodle to kind of help you think about what you should be giving feedback on for these specific drafts. And then that will be what you turn in on Moodle by Monday, March 15th or Monday, April 5th. But you are responsible for getting your partners their feedback. So, our deadlines have been sort of soft in this class up to this point, but as you can probably tell with this schedule, you will need to stay on top of this to be able to fully participate and get credit, especially for the peer reviews. If you don't have a draft in by the time that I go in on Tuesday mornings to assign peer review partners, you will not be assigned a peer review partner. And, if you email me and be in touch, there's almost always something that can be worked out, but if you don't get in touch with me, I can't help you. So, try to stay on top of it. Email me if things start to go awry. So, grades. Project 2 makes up nearly half of our semester, and that's reflected in its value relative to your other grades. Project 2 is going to be worth 400 points, which is 40% of your final grade. But besides the rubric score for that final paper, everything else is going to be graded on completion. Everything else is going to be graded on completion. So, did you turn in that draft? Did it meet the minimum word requirement? Did you turn in that peer review sheet? Or did you ghost your peer review partner? If your peer review partner ghosts you, let me know. Did you show up for the conference? That sort of thing is going to be where those points come from. However, if you don't participate in the drafting and peer reviewing and conferencing process of it all, you will not be able to get a good grade on Project 2. Together, all of this process stuff ahead of the final paper deadline is worth 200 points, and the final paper score, rubric score, accounts for the other 200 points. And there's a full breakdown of the specific numbers for everything on the prompt, but I won't waste your time here. This video has already gone on for a very long time, but you know, try to stay on top of this stuff. And obviously, I know things happen. Y'all, I think, have gotten a good sense by now of how I run things. Be in touch if things start to go awry. As I said, we're going to get more into focusing on your topic, developing your argument, honing your thesis statement, and then getting into the rest of the process, like with revising and editing, that sort of thing, in the coming weeks. But do go ahead and start thinking about how you might shift your research from Project 1 into an argument for Project 2, if you haven't already. Be thinking about that. So, I'm going to be putting up more resources and stuff in the next week or so. Everything kind of got shifted back because of the storm. But we'll be fine. We have plenty of time. So don't panic. I know this might seem like a lot, but just kind of breaking the writing process down and stretching it out, rather than having y'all work on like 3 or 4 separate smaller papers. I wanted to really just focus on making this final argumentative essay as good as it can be. So, don't panic. We're going to get through this step by step together. As always, email me with your questions or concerns, and take care of yourselves. All right. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.